Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, if you do enjoy the video that you came here to watch, do me a favor, go ahead and hit that little red subscribe button at the bottom of the screen. It really does help my audience grow. It really does help this channel grow. It means more than you realize. So go ahead, hit that little red button. Also, remember, full episodes of the Aaron Torres podcast, wherever you download your podcast, Apple, Spotify, etc. Now, here is the video that you came here for. All right, there was one more college hoops topic that I do want to get to before we get out of here. And frankly, it's something from the weekend that I just didn't have a chance to get to earlier in the week. And you know how it gets sometimes here on the Aaron Torres pod in November. We obviously are going to focus on football, on a Monday, Tuesday show. But a few of you have asked me about it. And so I just figured I'd do a quick segment here in the middle of the week, talk a little bit about it, and then we will get out of here. The topic, it involves our old buddy, Penny Hardaway. And anyone who listens to this show kind of knows my situation with Penny is one, I loved the hire when it happened. And I love that he is so outspoken and unafraid of taking kind of public arrows. But I have also been critical of him, right? When he says that I expect to win a national championship the year they had James Wiseman and they were trending to not make the tournament before he was canceled because of COVID. When he says, I want all the smoke. When he's chirping at reporters saying it's a dumb question asking about this and that and the other thing, I have to be fair to both sides. So I liked when he was hired. I was critical, but I also thought he did an awesome job late last season. If you remember, Memphis was struggling in the middle of the year. Amani Bates leaves the team. They call it medical issues, but nobody really knows. The team played really well. The team played themselves into the NCAA tournament. And we talked a lot about him down the stretch of college hoops last year, and I give him credit for turning that thing around and getting it right. Well, the topic with Penny Hardaway that I want to discuss today actually has little to do with on the court. Memphis, to its credit, see, I can say nice things about Penny. They were one of the few teams that actually went out and played somebody earlier this week. They went to Vanderbilt. Jerry Stackhouse got the win in Nashville, so a nice win for Memphis and Penny Hardaway to start 1-0. But the topic today that we're going to discuss is actually some Memphis recruiting news. Because over the weekend, Penny Hardaway got commitments from not one, but two very prominent high school players, but not necessarily the best players in their class. The most notable one, Mikey Williams, 6'3" guard from the San Diego area. Very prominent player. We'll get into a little bit of his background right now, but kind of tumbling down the recruiting rankings. We didn't know if he'd even go to college. Well, he's on a recruiting visit on Saturday night, commits to Memphis, and then later in the weekend, J.J. Taylor, a former five-star, who has really tumbled down the recruiting rankings. He is now ranked not even in the top 100 in some recruiting services, commits to Memphis as well. And so I want to talk about it, but I'll just be blunt. I wouldn't have done this if I was Penny Hardaway. I am very surprised that he did it. And let's break it down and let's talk about it because I think this is a very, very, very interesting deal, especially for this program and this coach specifically. Now, for people who don't know the background on Mikey Williams, I think you can argue that he's right up there with his former AAU teammate, Bronny James, as the most prominent and certainly famous players in this high school basketball class of 2023. If you follow recruiting at all, you know the name Mikey Williams. Really super athletic, has made, a bunch of like mixtapes and YouTube and this and that. And before he got to high school, this is kind of how quote unquote famous that he is, had over 1 million followers on Instagram before he got to high school for his dunks. And, he's a great athlete, right? So over 1 million followers prior to high school. Gets to high school, has a really successful high school season as a freshman in the San Diego area, rated as a 5-star, one of the best players in the class of 2023. But unfortunately, really as his star has ascended, as his fame has ascended, as probably, to be blunt, some people around him, whatever, he's really struggled, to be honest, in the back half of his high school career. Left San Ysidro, that's a little bit south of San Diego, goes across country, plays in North Carolina. Now he is back in the San Diego area for his senior year of high school. But this was a guy that at one point was considered one of the top 2-3 prospects in this class. And if you watch him, he's still about the same size he was as an 8th grader, still has that crazy athleticism. But unfortunately, the game around him has not developed. At 6'2", 6'3", you'd want him to be a playmaker, a creator for others, take care of the ball, handle it,
set others up, kind of a combo guard, can play on the ball, can play off the ball. And unfortunately, that is not how his game has evolved. I saw him at the Pangos All-American camp over the summer, and he looked really frustrated. I mean, playing with other really good players, a lot of turnovers, wasn't making others better, wasn't getting shots for himself. Now, certainly in transition, he looked great. But I mean, when you're talking about winning basketball, like playing basketball at the highest level, it just didn't feel like he was ready to do that. And so I bring it up because you have him, you have JJ Taylor, who, like I said, is a former top 5 player in his own right from the Chicago area, goes to Donda Academy in California. We all know that was Kanye West High School. The school shuts down. Now he's going to play in San Diego, and they both commit to Memphis over the weekend. And so why I bring it up is because, to be blunt, if I was Penny Hardaway, I just wouldn't have done this. And I was actually kind of shocked that he took the commitment of these 2 players. Now, people are saying, why would they do that? Why would you be shocked? Torres, you don't want to see them play college basketball. No, listen, I've said it many times. I love college basketball. I want all the good players to play college basketball, to enjoy the college experience. I hope they all do, and I'm glad Penny Hardaway is giving them an opportunity. It's just not something I would have done, and I'm very surprised that Penny Hardaway specifically did it, and let me explain why. Remember, Penny is the guy that at this time last year, and really about, 13, 14 months ago now, what was the big buzz in college basketball? Amani Bates, former 5-star player, really highly touted, kind of famous, if you will, as a 14, 15-year-old. His stock as a recruit is plummeting. It's going in the wrong direction. What happens at Memphis? Penny Hardaway decides to take him in. Penny Hardaway allows him to reclassify, comes to campus, and let's be blunt. It really, when Amani Bates was on the team, it did not work out. There were chemistry issues. There were minutes issues, all that, whatever, however you want to call it. And really, when the team got hot, when they played their best basketball last year, was when Amani Bates left the team. Again, he said it was injury issues. It was weird, had a back problem, left campus, went back to Michigan to see a specialist there. But I bring it up because Memphis played its best basketball without Amani Bates. And so why I find this weird is because Penny Hardaway, after the Amani Bates experience, was very vocal about, man, I'm done with these high-profile high school kids. Give me older college players, kids that want to be on a college campus, kids that don't have a million people in their ear telling them what they should or should not do. And if you look at this 2022-2023 roster, that reflects it. I went back and looked. Monday night, they got the win at Vanderbilt, okay? Here is who was starting for Memphis. You had a 4th-year senior in Malcolm Dandridge, been with the program for 4 years. You had 3 5th-year seniors, including Kendrick Davis, transfer from SMU. Also on top of that, you had a couple other guys, Keontae Kennedy, who's a transfer, and Alex Lomax, who has been with the program for 5 years now. And you also had DeAndre Williams, who is, I believe, the oldest player in college basketball. You're not going to believe this. He's 26 years old, born in 1996, older than Lonzo Ball, who's been in the NBA for 6 or 7 years now. And so Memphis, Penny Hardaway really spoke about making it a priority to get old, to stay old. And I just don't want to deal with all the drama with these high-profile high school kids. And so I'm not mad he took Mikey Williams. I don't care that he took Mikey Williams. I'm glad somebody's giving Mikey a shot. But I'm just surprised that Memphis, after the year that Penny had last year, chose to do this. Now, it could be for any number of reasons. One, I'll say this about Mikey. The talent is there. The athleticism is there. The skill is there. I think right now he has more upside than Amani Bates did when he arrived at Memphis. That might sound crazy. Amani was a year or two younger when that happened, but Amani's not super athletic. He's not super skilled. It was going to take progress. Mikey Williams at least still has NBA level athleticism, quick twitch, jumping ability. And if you can get him locked in, I think that's a kid that could play in the NBA. Now, he's got to get the ball handling much better. He's got to get the shooting stroke much better. He's got to get the defense much better. I don't know if he'll get there, but he can if he locks in on it. Also, maybe it's just Penny, having a little bit more comfort at his alma mater. I'm not getting in trouble with the NCAA. We dodged that bullet. I made an NCAA tournament, so I have a little bit of leeway. And maybe it's just Penny likes to help kids. And if that's the reason why, then I can't be mad at Penny. If he just wants to give a kid a shot, that's fine. Like I said, I'm just a little bit surprised that after the Imani Bates experience last year, that Penny Hardaway made this decision. Listen, it's his program. He can do what he wants. I'm glad Mikey's getting a shot somewhere. I'm glad JJ Taylor, who we all thought was going to take one of these pro routes, is getting an opportunity somewhere. I'm just a little bit surprised by it.